Lore behind the Warrior cinematic. Israel was said by the only other person to build Muramana Kaisa. This made me laugh so hard.
Here we go again.
Okay, obviously the Warrior is not only about Freljord, but that's really what I want to focus on. The other stuff that's happening is also cool though. Also, like, one of my favorite cinematics, by the way. But like, without, I didn't even know the story when I saw this at all, and this was still one of my favorite cinematics. Just like, it's emotional with no words. Like, it's so good.
Everyone was aware.
Yeah, buddy.
Release a cinematic just like they have at the beginning of season 9. I was a bit skeptical because they just released a cinematic for Senna, and I thought their resources were already spent. But here we are now.
Oh, big weapon.
On the video, ready to debate the significance of Garen not being able to tie a proper knot. Just like we went through the entire cinematic release last year, we are going to explain what is happening in this cinematic too. But this time, we know the cinematic is tied to the story. Last time it was only a speculation. So now that we know there is a connection, we should only wonder about to what degree is the cinematic.
I feel like they didn't do Irelia justice. She looks like Irelia, yeah, but it's like, she also looks super weird. Like, her choreography is just weird. The way she walks, the way she runs. I just really don't like it.
But enough dilly-dallying. I know you're all hungry.
There's Noxus invasion. I'm assuming this is the second invasion. I'm gonna watch the video a bit later.
For information. So let's get started.
Yeah.
The cinematic begins with a shot of a Demacian castle in the northern mountains. We know this is still in Demacian territory because the castle has Demacian architecture.
Yeah.
If it was outside Demacia, it would have to be a barbarian outpost that was overtaken by Demacians. Don't worry, there is a reason why I'm talking about this nonsense.
Yeah.
As the shot gets closer to the inside of the castle, you may notice only a single massive gate with nothing else around. That might be because this isn't a castle where people would live.
This is a gate castle, basically, yeah.
But rather, from further away, it all looks like a fortress that is defending a path through the mountains.
Makes sense.
Which, if you remember Silas's latest story, makes a lot of sense. In case you don't know, after Silas escaped the Demacian prison, he traveled north to team up with the Winter's Claw. We literally released a video about this a couple of days ago. Silas got the Winter's Claw on his side by telling them about hidden pathways that would take them right into the Demacian Richlands. And this fortress is very likely protecting one of these hidden paths.
It's not much of a hidden path. There's a whole freaking fortress over there, but okay.
In this scene, you may notice Garen retreating inside the fortress, where he was met by hooded Lux. What's peculiar here is that Lux doesn't have her staff, even though she got it from a mage at the end of her story arc. And unfortunately, her missing staff isn't really explained at all. It might seem like she doesn't have her staff with her because she's hiding that she's a mage.
Dude, she's animated so well. Like, holy fuck. She looks so realistic. It's crazy.
But that is not exactly the truth, as you'll see later. Anyway, the initial scene...
This is like... These cinematics are what Blizzard cinematics used to feel like way back when. They still feel good, don't get me wrong, but it's like... Again, not so much. But like the emotion you can see in the character's eyes... it's so hard for me to imagine that you can even draw that, you know?
With a close-up of Garen before he gets smacked by
Boom.
The interesting detail here is that we can finally see what the Crown Guard crest looks like. I always thought it was supposed to be the eagle crest that players got as an icon. And when Garen showed the Crown Guard crest in the comic,
it looks different.
I thought that one was just a lazy rendition of it. But here the cinematic shows us what the actual badge looks like. And I have to say, it does match the comic. So this is the canon version of the badge. It's a Demacian raptor with a crown.
Is it?
So this is the canon version of the badge. It's a Demacian raptor with a...
Where's the raptor, though? Yeah, I don't see it. I'm assuming this is the crown. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is... I don't know. I don't know how you see it as a raptor.
Later,
yeah.
Garen says hello to some ice
Boom.
magic, and we get transported to Zone. Immediately at the beginning, you can see the Piltover sigil. So right now, we are actually not in Zone. We are in Piltover, which is very important. It means that the Zonite goons we see here broke into a Piltover facility. It's not any kind of a noble house because the people they kicked in the face aren't dressed particularly well. They look more like technicians. And
but also, if they're in Piltover, why is there the whole like the play construct there?
finally start making sense when you look at the background and the foreground. These bars
Prison.
indicate that the Zonite goons broke into prison,
Yeah.
which gets further proven by the fact that they came here to free Urgot.
Oh, that's why. That's why it's a plague thing, because Urgot. Yeah, okay.
Now
Makes sense. Never mind.
How did Urgot get here? Last time we have heard about it, he was starting a revolution deep inside the sumps of Zone. Well, this was actually explained in the story Child of Zone. You may not know about this because we haven't covered the story yet. So here's the super TLDR
Vice squads for sure.
version of the latest story of Urgot. As Urgot convinced more and more people that Piltovans are weak, and that they are prisoners of wealth and weapons that give them temporary power. As a side effect, he slowly started his own religion. Urgot wasn't just a powerful man. To his followers, he was an idea. An idea that people shouldn't live in dirt just because they were unlucky in life. They should live good lives because they have the strength to do it. This meant that anyone who blindly ran after wealth was an enemy to Urgot and his followers. This included rich barons too. And when things started getting dangerous for the barons as well, they called the Wardens of Piltover for help. Now, the Wardens have never heard about barons calling for help, so it was obvious that something weird was happening. And so Caitlyn teamed up with Vi to investigate what was happening.
Yeah.
After that, they found out that there was a group of people branded by a sigil of a spider, who were done living in the dirt, and who followed the Dreadnought into a better future. At the end of the story, because they were 2 against 1, Caitlyn and Vi defeated Urgot. Vi had a chance to straight up kill him, but Caitlyn stopped her. Instead, they tied him in Caitlyn's net, and that's how he got captured. That's why we can see Urgot chained here in a Piltovan prison. Then
Okay, so how come they're barely like winning against him in the 2v1?
cinematic cuts to Shurima.
Nice.
Or at least we believe it is a Shuriman tomb.
Yeah,
It could
most
also be
likely.
one of the hidden tombs beneath Zone. Because
Yeah,
not only
but
do we know
nah.
that Zone used to be called Oshrava Zone, which was an ancient Shuriman port city. But Ezreal already had a story where he traveled to the hidden places beneath Zone. So this part of the cinematic might be a reference to that story. What's cool here is that Ezreal picked up the Tear of Goddess.
Eh,
It wasn't canon. So I'm curious to
Interesting.
see if Riot uses this item in the future. Of course, after Ezreal takes the artifact, it activates a defense
the
mechanism,
voids.
which in this scene is a swarm of voidlings.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, in the story where Ezreal traveled beneath Zone, he also released a swarm of weird insects. So again, this
But
is
not voidlings.
Oshrava Zone. But I still believe this is Shurima, because later there will be
Also-
something towards it.
Yeah.
Next,
Kaisa.
we got back to the Demacian castle. It turns out the magic that blew Garen away did come from Silas, which makes things super cool. Because this also proves that this castle is protecting a hidden pathway to Demacia. That's the reason why Silas came here. He promised it to the Wintersclaw tribe, which is also why we can see a bunch of
Yeah, okay, so that makes sense why these guys are barbarians. Like, I was like, who the hell is following Silas here?
from behind him. Then there is another cut back to Ezreal. As he blinks
Yeah.
over the voidlings, you can see light in front of him, which would suggest that's the exit. The thing is, I don't think this kind of light would be present in the depths of Zone.
Yeah.
So once again,
It's definitely
it
Shurima.
means that we are in Shurima
Yeah.
right now. One thing I didn't previously mention were the 2 statues next to Ezreal. These are statues of the Emperor's Guard, aka the soldiers Azir can summon in the game.
Yep.
But these statues can be present anywhere in Shurima's territory. And as the defense mechanism locks Ezreal in, suddenly we are back in Zone. Or Piltover. Hiram said that Riot missed out on a clever detail.
Ugly.
Urgot's followers are supposed to be branded with the mark of a spider. And I don't think any of these have that mark on them. So either Riot missed out on a cool detail,
They don't necessarily have to be his followers, though. They can just be somebody who wants to create chaos within Piltover, though. Right? They just hate Piltover, and it's like, what better way to just make Piltover, like, pay more than to release Urgot?
or these goons were mercenaries paid to free Urgot. Either way, as the first one gets captured in a net, we get a shot of Caitlyn.
Hello.
I don't know if this was intentional, but this scene heavily reminds me of her splash art.
Yep.
But then, as Vi steps in from the shadows, we get a scene where the music legitimately gave me chills.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I love this part, man. Oh my god, bro. Oh, give me a second to calm down. Dude, yeah, that part of the cinematic is just so good. Also, just Garen running, football tackling them, like, just shows how strong he is compared to, like, to these guys, you know?
In this battle, we got some references to Riot's concept art of the Freljordian weapons.
Yeah.
The main guy in the front is holding the middle sword of this concept piece,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy at the back is holding the concept blade next to it. It is cool to see that Riot is staying true to all the concepts and rules they laid down.
Nice.
As Lux got knocked on the ground, you can see Garen do a little half twist before he leaps forward.
Yeah.
This is a reference to Garen spinning, since he does it in every cinematic where he is. The directors mentioned that they can't let Garen madly spin.
Oh man,
So
the cinematic was so good. She shot, he broke her blades. Oh my god, and this is like super old cinematic, by the way.
instead, they try to go for the subtle hints that make sense. Anyway,
So
as Garen
good.
leaps forward, he draws his blade
Boom.
and he's met by Silas's shackles. And if you know how Silas's shackles work,
Yeah.
you know that means trouble. Then it cuts back to Piltover, where Vi is about to punch
Boom,
someone.
boom, boom,
A
bam.
really cool tiny detail is that here you can see her sheriff's assistant badge, which is something you can only barely see on her model in-game.
Which also looks a bit different.
In the face.
But yeah.
And listening to the sounds, I am pretty sure this guy is dead. Then we
Wasted.
quickly jump back to Shurima, where Israel gets saved by the only other person to ever build Muramana,
Yeah.
Kaisa. And
Basically.
now we're back in Piltover, where Vi
But
continues-
also... Damn, bro. Oh man, I can't wait for Cassidy to show up, please, at any moment.
Muramana, Kaisa. And now we're back in Piltover, where Vi continues punching people in the face, with the occasional snipe from Caitlyn.
Yeah.
At this point, the goons realize that their only chance to survive is to let Urgot go free. And so, with an unfortunate shot from Caitlyn that his metal arm,
Well...
he did just that. And as Urgot goes free, another nice detail is that you can see Urgot's arms locked in metal cases, which fall off as the chamber unlocks. You can see a small metal case on his left arm.
I'm more interested in like why they kept all the weapons on Urgot. It's so weird. What's up, Cocomel?
And one massive lock on his arm cannon. And once Urgot got free, all hell broke loose.
Yeah, but why is he imprisoned with his weapons? I thought that was a good idea.
We are back in the Demacian battle, as Silas and Garen have a duel. I like how Silas is frantically slashing his chains around.
What did you walk into? League lore. It's like I'm just finishing Demacian lore and I'm gonna move into Ionia and stuff like that.
Because this is exactly how the stories describe Silas fighting. And
Yep.
as always, his
Aye.
battles end with his chains being wrapped around someone's limbs. And then Garen went flying. And now we are in Shurima again. Since Kaisa is now protecting Ezreal and allowing him to escape, it's clear that she doesn't care about the fact
Are you telling me people can pronounce Cocomel? How do they usually pronounce it? Cocomel? What? How would they pronounce it?
that Ezreal just disrespected the ancestors by stealing an artifact.
Yeah.
She's there to defeat the Void, and that is all she cares about.
Yep.
What's cool about this is that if this is canon, then Ezreal is one of the few who witnessed Kaisa.
Actually, wow.
And I wonder if this gets referenced in Project F. Meanwhile, back in Demacia, a Winter's Claw shaman got slammed into the ground, and the staff he had now flew towards Lux.
Oh,
Again,
that's where she got
in
the
this
staff.
battle, Lux doesn't have her staff,
For some
she's
reason.
supposed to have. And although the staff that fell before her looks very similar to hers, it's a different staff, which becomes obvious once you put them next to each other. Also, this one has shards of ice in it. Now let me confirm for you that this is not true ice. Because if it was, the moment Lux would pick it up, she would die. And now we're back in Piltover, where Urgot is using his ultimate. He managed to hit Vi's glove, which she was able to sacrifice.
Urgot is using his ultimate.
Vi's gloves are not actually part of her. Again, this was shown in the story that led to this cinematic. Then
Yeah.
we get back to Demacia.
Here it is.
Because Silas got a couple of hits on Garen's sword and armor, he managed to absorb some of the magic that was stored in Garen's armor, which normally would be any kind of magic Garen faced in the past. But because Silas is using light, things get even more interesting. We know that Garen himself isn't a mage, and we know that in the past Demacia was united under the aspect of Justice, who was able to smite down the enemies of Demacia with a rain of holy blades. So now, when Garen shouts justice in-game, the giant sword that comes down isn't actually his magic. It is the power of the aspect of justice answering his call. So if Silas is able to summon a holy sword of his own, that means that Garen had to be blessed by the aspect at least once in his past. Otherwise, Silas wouldn't be able to draw from its power. I wouldn't consider this 100% canon.
I'm sure this is just used as an effect for the cinematic. We saw him also absorb the power when he blocked the sword. So it's either to say the power is in the sword or the power is maybe connected to Garen through the sword or something like that. Doesn't matter, but I'm pretty sure it's just for cinematic effect because Silas is known to steal ultimates. I think this is more of a love letter to like League players than it has to do with an actual story.
Because in the stories, Garen never actually summoned a holy blade from the heavens. But it's a really cool reference to what is happening with holy magic. Then there are a couple of cuts between all the different places, where all the characters weigh their options. And it starts with Ezreal, who wouldn't let the stranger just die for him. So he drops the tier of goddess entirely.
Is she a stranger for him here? I guess so, yeah. That'll be the first time they meet. God, I love this cinematic though. Oh my god, man. Ugh.
Which is what his gauntlet is called. After that, Lux force grips the staff somehow. Now you know why it can't be a true ice weapon. If it was,
she grips it, yeah.
More importantly, she uses the staff to summon a beacon of light. Which means that she publicly revealed that she is a mage. Which is interesting, because as you'll see, none of the warriors around, nor Garen, care that she is a mage. They are obviously aware of it, and they stand behind her nonetheless. Which means that Garen might actually lead his own squad of warriors who don't blindly capture mages.
Yeah.
Then we get even more action shots where Ezreal saves Kai'Sa, Caitlyn and Vi defeat Urgot once again, which means that he's going back to prison, and at the very end, the beacon Lux summon signaled Galio, who was able to come and help his friend.
Which, by the way, also doesn't make sense canonically, because like he needs to absorb magic in order to be summoned, right? So it's like, it doesn't make sense. This is all for cinematic effect. Welcome back. It's all for cinematic effect, but again, man, this is such a good cinematic. And this is probably not exactly how the fight went on, but it's just to show that they probably managed to defend against Silas or some shit like that.
And this is what I was talking about before.
And boom.
Drops in, none of the warriors are surprised. So the Demacians already knew about him. Which again makes me think that Garen and Lux have a squad of trusted Demacians who are not afraid of magic. And they fight for real justice. And also, in the video we released like 2 days ago, I mentioned it would be cool to see Galio face the ancient frost magic. And here it is. You need to remember that Galio is still a legend. Pretty much no one but Lux knows that Galio can even live. To the vast majority of Demacia, he is just a statue. So if Galio suddenly dropped into the battlefield, the Demacians would be as scared as the Freljordians. That's why it is weird to see everyone be so calm. Lastly, let me quickly talk about the soldiers themselves. Garen is supposed to be connected to the Dauntless Vanguard, which are elite Demacian soldiers. But if you look at the armor of these Demacians,
that's not them.
None of them have the iconic helms with golden rimming. So these aren't necessarily the most elite soldiers, but they seem to be loyal nonetheless. The bottoms of these helms...
Again, I feel like this is like... This cinematic is not meant to tell that story to that extent. Because, for example, the whole like Urgot thing, is it even relevant that he escaped and then been put back to prison? Not really, but they just want to show that stuff that they told in the story before is being referred to in the cinematic. It feels like a lot of like love letter to certain areas of the story rather than this telling more of that story. Right, you can use it as such, like the whole Silas attack and stuff like that. That's cool. The whole like Kai'Sa is fighting those voidlings, and that's the only reason she's there to fight Void. That's cool, but it's not so much building the characters as more like confirming, not necessarily fan theories, but like confirming the character development so far. That's like more like, you know, putting that dot in the sentence. That's all it is. But that's fine. Like, it's not a bad thing. I'm really happy about it. This cinematic is just so fucking good.
Feathers engraved into them. And I wonder if this means that these soldiers are northern Demacians. Because in the north, that's where Demacia breeds their raptors. so feathering on the armor would make
Yeah, but they have very different helms. Very different everything, really.
sense. And
Also different weapons.
uses her light to take Silas down.
Yeah.
Again, remember that although these stories
Also, we don't see her take him down. Right? That's where the cinematic ends. Also, damn. They portray her so well. I hate Lux in game, don't get me wrong, but like, goddamn, she's portrayed so well. She's probably the one that her and Silas have by far more details put into them than anyone here, including Garen. Garen, like, you can see it's Garen, but it's like the amount of details on Garen is nothing compared to Lux and Silas. And even Lux is like up here, Silas is down here, and Garen's like down here for the amount of details.
Again, remember that although these stories are based on real lore, they shouldn't be taken as 100% canon scene by scene.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Only explore future stories that are likely coming in some form.
Yeah.
That's the way the Awaken cinematic was put together.
Dude, and Awaken was so good.
See how direct Riot was with this year's cinematic. The Demacia and Piltover scenes
Awaken was by far my favorite.
Are pretty much directly continuing the lore. Riot purposefully released their stories a month earlier to set them up, which wasn't the case with any of the storylines last year. I just really hope that Riot turns this into a yearly thing. Their cinematics are amazing, and people really appreciate them.
Yep,
and
they are.
More details we learn,
As long as they don't put any more KDA, I'm gonna watch all of them. Fuck the KDA stuff.
the better.
So dumb.
I just want to know, where did Garen learn to tie knots?
God
God knows he will never untie this mess.
What do you mean? Yeah, he will. Let's see. Yeah, all you gotta do is pull this and it unties it. That's all it is. You pull this part, right? And it unties it. That's it. It's simple as that.
Because God knows he will never untie this mess.
Alright, cool.
Hey, did you...
Oh, I didn't even see the Ruination cinematic. Well, I think I have it somewhere here. Like, we have a lot of videos today anyways. Yeah, dude, this Warrior cinematic is just so fucking good. It's crazy. Like, I get teary-eyed every time I watch it, like, from excitement. It's so good. Anyways, yep, that's it for this video. I'll go next.